Hi everyone, my name is Eduardo Carmona. I'm a professor at Cal State at Dominguez Hill. I'm currently teaching DMA 495. This is my first semester as a professor. I teach screenwriting for DMA 495. We focus on film, short film. That's about, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 minutes. And then a PSA, about 30 seconds a minute. So mostly what I teach the students is the basic is in formatting and screenwriting. I graduated from Cal State Los Angeles with an MFA and a triple MFA in creative writing, theater, and television production, screenwriting for television, for short films and PSAs. For me, it's an opportunity to learn the craft of screenplay, how to work with a screenplay, how do you work with a story in your head and transfer it into a paper, and then see that story being produced and going through the entire process of conception and idea all the way to the production of the idea, seeing it on hopefully silver screen bed or whatever medium distribution now you guys using. It's an exhausting process. Writing is not easy. The student must understand that you have to proceed with calm and you have to follow certain basic rules that every writer must follow and all the industry must follow. But once you start working and start writing and start seeing the result of your hard work on the paper, then you realize that yeah, I can do this, and I think that was the best motivation for me to see how the students start with the zero, absolutely nothing, zero knowledge of screenplays, and through a semester they will produce and they produce actually and write a professional looking screenplay formatting almost perfect, and that's a great achievement for me and for them mostly, not for me. Yeah, I work for about 12, 15 years in the industry. I started working at the American Online Studios back in the 90s and Beverly Hills. I work as in the mailroom, the facilities. So for years I was like sorting mail, and then one day the producer gave me an opportunity to work into to help him out to build up a crane, and the studio, inside the studio, because they have a studio and they were producing several music videos, interviews with different artists and everything. And so they gave me an opportunity for that. I worked really hard for the next 3 years, gained their trust. And as soon as I didn't even know, I noticed that over the time while I was working there as a mailroom facility guy, cleaning everything after their mess, I realized I ended up working in music video industry, and it was pretty outstanding, and it was very good experience in terms of production, film production and studio production, multicam, and working with big bands, B-52s, Smashing Pumpkins, Alanis Morissette, and seeing then Cyndi Lauper, Madonna, so many students, so many artists that I work behind the scene, and have them singing like a few feet from you, man. It's just an amazing thing. So then after that, I got an opportunity to move into the Real Studio. That was Warner Brothers. And then I moved into a New Line Cinema for 5 years. There again, I start from scratch, from the bottom of the barrel. And I was a mailroom guy. The New Line Cinema for me was the most amazing experience in my entire life. I met everyone who's somebody in the movie industry. I had fantastic experience participating in it's a small participation in movies like The Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, several Final Destinations, you name it. I mean, and then I met directors, producers, actors, actresses. But mostly I was working closely with executives, gaining their trust and their support, and working with the the executive line of production in this, which is a completely different world. It's some experience that is invaluable. Then seeing how projects develop from scratch, from an idea, from meeting from the executives, which I was like helping them out in terms of like, setting rooms and sitting there, taking notes little by little. It was a process. And from the scratch of idea, from pitching an idea from directors and producers to these executives, making, for instance, The Conjuring. I was very big on The Conjuring in terms of pre-production, production, and post-production. And it was a very fascinating experience in that. And that opened my eyes to see how this business goes and never lose the sense of after all, and at the end of the day, this is a big business. And you really have to be very, very well prepared to get into it and have a lot of patience. And then after that, I moved to Sony, Columbia Pictures. We're doing completely different roles in there. I started working in network television shows. Networking in terms of computer and setting up connections for countless of shows. There's so many shows. But that was a different field, completely different, because New Line was pretty much in the office, Robertson Boulevard, but Sony is the lot. Sony in Culver City was the lot, and then I had the opportunity to go into all these different sets, all these different movies, all these different actors, and this was the bomb, man. It was just awesome. 2 years there. I went to the, I don't know. I mean, you walk on the lot studios and George Clooney's there, and I don't know, Alien director is there, and you see and you have lunch with them and you just talk to them and they talk back to you. It's like, wow. And then also give me an opportunity to go into the inside the production television shows, which is like fascinating. Because I came from mostly film, and film and televisions are two different animals that have their own rules, their own world. And television shows are a fast-paced environment where everything works like a little Rolex. It works precise. I mean, you have to have excellent communication skills. You have to have excellent team working-oriented mentality, and you have to know what you're doing. Like blinded. I mean, you have to know what you're doing, because this is 1 second wasted and you can ruin the entire show. Mm-hmm. Ray Donovan was for me one of the most amazing experiences. I was helping them with about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes, and see them working with the team of people who actually are behind the scenes of these shows are just unbelievable. And thanks to a lot of hard work, I gained the trust of them, and then I started reading more television screenplays and being fascinated with that. When you're in the business, people don't understand this, but it's very important to understand this from the get-go. When you're working in the industry, you walk into a family, very close family. When you cross the gate from the street into the studio, you have to lose a lot of things behind. You have to see how does this world work, because it's a small world. It's very, very, everybody knows each other. Adam Sandler, for instance, I worked many times with him, help him out with the network, help him out with the shows, help him out to do things. And we got this kind of, I see Adam Sandler and he looked at me and I look at him and I said, "Good morning, sir. Hey, how you doing it?" That's it. And after that, you treat them like anybody else. Once you go out of the lot, once you go on the street, you go, "Oh my God." Or like one day I was having lunch outside on Columbia Pictures and the street in Sony, and I look over my side, it was Ridley Scott. And Ridley Scott, God, it's Ridley Scott. But what are you going to do? You're going to just jump over and start embracing the guy and kissing him all right. You can't do that. So it's that respect, because these people know that inside the studio they're safe from all this craziness outside, and you have to respect that, And then on top of that, if you are in the studio already in there, and you went through a process, you just didn't show up there. You went through a process, you go into a park inside the studio, and you start chatting with Michelle Pfeiffer, or Martin Scorsese, and I did that, and just they walk away, and you walk away, and everybody treat each other with respect and professional demeanor, So that's very important for everyone. Mm-hmm. So no Star Trek inside the studio. After that, it's just like I remember I was working at a new line, and I was in reception, covering reception for some reason. This guy walking, and so I look at him and I said, "Yeah, I know this guy," and he was the guy from The Hobbit, Martin Freeman. Mm-hmm. And I was like trembling, I was shaking, and then another years previous to that. What's the name of this actor? The British actor, what's his name? So many times. This guy, Gollum guy, he came into the office and started chatting with me. And Guillermo del Toro, I was like, Guillermo, I admire your films and everything. And we spoke, and I speak Spanish, I'm bilingual, so we talk about that. No one knew that I was bilingual until I started talking to him. And then they opened me another opportunity to start translating things into Spanish, English, Spanish. When other actors come. I made Jackie Chan, for instance. He's a very, very funny person, very nice person. Short dude, stocky, but hey, what are you going to do? Start fighting Kung Fu? You can do that. So it's not that for once, like I said before, when you're inside in that world, you have to respect them, they respect you, and they treat each other because everyone is a professional. And that's the important thing I try to transmit to our students. You have to behave now as a professional, because once you go in outside the world, into the real world, they're going to treat you as a professional. But if you start showing, that you don't have what it takes, they're not going to talk to you anymore. What happened to you is like nobody want to talk to you, and you'll get isolated, outcast, and you're done. Might sound offensive, but the first thing I'm going to say is just be on time. If you promise something, you have to be on time. You don't waste anybody's time. Because every second runs money. And you don't, when you go on an interview with somebody, for instance, one of my experiences, let's say with Ray Donovan, on Ray Donovan cast, you have amazing actors. And if you call sheet, another one, Better Call Saul, that was the last show I worked. And if you have a call sheet, I was responsible for getting call sheets from New Mexico and transfer that to the studio assistant at Sony. And if I get the call sheet at 9 o'clock and they want the call sheet at 9:05, I better be there at 9:02. And if they ask me something, I better have the answer ready, because you pay, on my level, it wasn't big money, but these people depend on information, depend on punctuality, depend on the ability you take notes and transmit information and communicate properly. And be responsible for what you do. And if you don't know, you don't know. And you say, okay, I'll get back to you. And you better get back to them, because people don't forget. So I think the most important thing for communication is you have to learn it at school. If you don't learn at the school, you're lost. It's something that you learn by making mistakes. And classes, for instance, in this program are very important to make mistakes. You have to make mistakes. You cannot know everything. If you know everything, you'll be sitting on this side of the desk and I'll listen to you. So you have to make mistakes, and this is the best, the greatest opportunity you might have as a student, to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. But do not make the same mistakes again, because once you start doing, you improve yourself, your work improves, your personality improves, your communication skills improves, and then people start noticing that. And also, alongside communication comes social interaction. When you're socially interacting with somebody, you have to show professionalism. You have to dress properly. You have to, avoid certain things. Have a clean environment where you work in. know what you're talking about, and make sure that you understand what they're talking about. Make sure that you get prepared for the meeting. Make sure you know what you're going to do in the meeting. And make sure you take notes, and then you leave the meeting and you start working immediately what you have to do. And then people notice that, Mr. I don't know, Nick Nolte, he's a good guy. I want to work with him again. Okay, call him. And that's it. That puts you on top of the list, on top of the pile, because there's like millions and millions of people waiting for an opportunity out there. And this is always what I told to my students is like, you have to gain your opportunity. The opportunity might show up once in your lifetime. If you don't take it, you're not prepared for it, you're not going to lose it. You're going to lose it. You're never going to be able to make it again. And then put you on top when you got all the skills, when you have practice, when you have all the skills set, they're going to put you on top of the paper list, and they want to keep you calling back. Hey, like happened to me, they keep calling me back, Hey, we have another show. You want to come? Yeah, sure, man, no worries. They have to start talking to them on socializing in parties, from the studio parties. Like I remember Sony used to do it, not now, but used to do it. 2 or 3 major parties on Christmas before studio closes for 2 weeks by the end of the year. And everyone, from actors to producers to executives to everyone, even me, joined them. But you still have to have that respect, you still have to, you're not going to get drunk, because they're going to fire you. And then you have social interaction. We used to have social interaction at New Line every Friday. And Sony, we had it like Happy Thursdays. Very interesting thing, because you don't have a Happy Friday, you have Happy Thursdays, because everybody got to work the next day, so don't bother to get drunk too much, because and everybody interact with each other. So you work with people at Columbia, you work with people at MGM, you work with people at Screen Gems. I had a very good experience working at Screen Gems. Very good experience at Screen Gems. I don't know if you're familiar with that production company. They made very good movies. Then Blumhouse. Then several other little production inside the studio. And you know them, you interact, you talk to them, and you said, okay, well, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing this and that. Hey, how about this and that? And there it is. So communication skills are important, social skills are important, and interaction and interpersonal skills in terms of like being socially agreeable to work with. In other words, you have to be very professional. I had an experience working at Cal State LA for about a year and a half, teaching as a TA, and I think I found my niche in life. You can see my hair is old, but I'm not old. so I don't want to, one of the things is like you get to a place. I took me 13, 14 years to get my MFA. In between that, I was working in the studio full time. So it was a hard work, really, really hard work. And it takes your toll, seriously. You're working in the studio and you have to be like every day at 5 a.m. all the way to midnight, every day, 7 days a week. And I don't really want to do that anymore. And then on top of that, shows comes and go, film comes and goes. And if you don't really have a steady position inside the studio, you might have no job for a couple of, a year or something. So you go unemployed. But what made me realize that I can teach is because I found out that I love to teach. I love to share the knowledge that I have, the experience, and I think teaching is a feedback process. You always learn from everybody. You always be very mentally active. You have to work hard in order to have an excellent curriculum to bring out the best you can do in terms of like what am I going to show the students now that's going to be very helpful for their future, Not like boring things of watching movies in 1929 and yeah, okay, you can do that, but is it going to work for you when you go out and looking for a job? Maybe not. So that's why I had experience. I saw I was there when the movies were done, and I know what it requires to succeed. And I want to transfer that. And the best way for me to do it is through academia. And also, personally, I have a great satisfaction to teach and see the success of my students. I'm very proud of my school. I'm very proud of my students. I think they're magnificent. I think they're very good. They're very talented. But you have to guide them. You have to help them to discover their own talent, and that is a reward. The first thing comes to my head at this moment is like, you have to get ready to work hard. But working hard is not working busy hard. It's working smart hard. You have to be very smart. And one of the things you have to learn from the get-go is how to learn to manage your time. You can do a lot of things during the day, but if you manage your time properly, you can do more things and more efficiently. Instead of just watching the flies flying around the room, or I'll do tomorrow. Procrastination is your worst enemy. So when you join this program, make sure you know how to manage your time. Make sure that open your eyes wide open, like the guy from, with the eyes here, what's her name? The Pan's Labyrinth. Make sure you know where you're going. Make sure that you make questions. You have to make questions. Mm-hmm. You do not sit there and be a warm body, just sitting, breathing, and that's it. No, you have to make questions. You have to actively participate in the process of learning, because I can do as a teacher so much, but I have my limits. If you don't participate, you're not going to get the 100% of this program, which is fascinating. This program is amazing. It's well designed. It goes straight to practicality, and it opens your eyes to the world of work in the industry. And not only in the industry, but it gives you opportunities to know about music production, post-production, pre-production, writing, skills that you're going to need one way or another. And you're going to take these skills from the classes that we share with you. We give these classes to you every day. You're never going to forget these skills. They're going to stay with you for the rest of your professional life. And you're going to have the basics of screenwriting, the basics of production, the basics of post-production, the basics of music, the basic of anything. And then it's up to you. How are you going to work with those basic skills? But you do have it, and you're going to acquire here in this program professionally, efficiently, and as long as you participate with questions, you take notes, get feedback, and you get used to work with a cohort of students that are pretty much focusing into the same goal as you have. And that's another aspect of this program that attracted me so much, is the way it is structured in terms of 2-year cohorts. And this let me tell you a story. For instance, there's this director, a very famous director. So this director, I work with him from Back the Giant Killer, a New Line. And he and his friend grew up together in New York. They worked together to school. They went to the same film school, and just worked together ever since then. And the same with everyone. So when you go to school, you work with people, and you never know. You might going to become the best partner in your life, professional partner in your life, And so that's why you have to also understand that when you're working with your students, you're working with a potential professional or studio director or a potential producer, mega producer, Brian Singer, that's his name. And it's an amazing guy. I mean, he's a crazy guy. He just works really well. But they know each other. Like I said before in the interview, and this is a very small circle. Everybody knows each other. The most you work with somebody, the most you work with someone in terms of producing things, getting together, feedback ideas, communicating well, the better for your future. So the idea of this cohort system is just fantastic, because you never know. You never know. It's the same when you work into a studio. I had many years of experience working with interns, and you never know. You never know. And when some of these interns now, they came to work in New Line as an intern, and now they're executives. and they're designing, they're gambling on them. They're actually working on producing $1 million movies. One of my favorite was Walter Hamada. He's running Warner Brothers DC. He started as an intern many years ago. But the dude produced The Conjuring, brought great ideas, comic books, and now he's running DC. And he works closely with another friend of mine, Sam Brown, and another friend of mine, Mike Disco, and all those three guys, man. Richard Brenner, Mike Disco, Sam Brown, Walter Hamada, Rick, the studio bosses now. They also, I know them very well. These people start working from the bottom. Yeah, like I said before, I love the program. I think it's very coherent, a very smart program, very smart way to come out with for future professionals from the industry, or not necessarily the industry, but independent professionals as well. So that is something very attractive. We have a very professional pool of instructors. So some of them are like, for instance, Mario Congreve, everybody knows him, an Emmy winner director, producer from documentaries. What else you want? I mean, how many schools can say, hey, I have an Emmy winner producer director in the teacher staff, you know? So that is something that when you have talent, you attract talent. And we have to have talent. And I think at this school, this particular program is smart because it has talent. And I'm very humbled to work with the school. I'm learning the ropes in the school. I'm very proud to be a Toto. And I love it. I love the school. I have a great faith in the program. I have a great faith in my students. And I'm very, 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 very extremely happy to be surrounded with outstanding professors and professionals in the industry. The program offers a fantastic opportunity, a solid opportunity, a real opportunity to learn, to express yourself, to develop your abilities to tell stories, to bring your stories alive, to create self-confidence in terms of who do you know, what do you want to do with the rest of your professional life in terms of the industry, and to foster fantastic relationship with other students and exchange ideas, cultural ideas, concepts that might sometimes sound foreign to you, but when you start develop and through the process of these 2 years, you start find out that there's a world of possibilities when you're a good student. And good students again means like you have to be professional with you, behave professional with yourself and with the other students. Be responsible, manage your time, be on time, make sure that you understand the program, and never, ever, 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 ever give up. It's hard, but never give up. Never. Because this is the only opportunity you might want to have in your life, and you have to be smart about it. You have to use it.
All right, well,
but again, thank you so much, Professor.
Yes, thank you very much.
Have a nice rest of the weekend.
Have a good one.
Do enjoy yourself. Bye.
Bye. All right, that was good, I think.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah.